Hello, welcome to Grateful Heart Health and Wellness. My name is Stephanie Lindsay, and I'm here to offer you a little yoga sequence for hip opening and low back ease, we'll say. It's meant to keep you off your wrists so that you can just lay on your back. You don't even need a yoga mat. You can use a blanket or a rug. You don't need extra props like blocks or straps, although a strap or a belt that goes around your waist could be really helpful if you have tighter hamstrings. But again, I'll show you some variations that you don't need it. All right, so you can do this right before you go to bed at night, right after a long day's work, or right after you wake up in the morning so that you feel freedom to go about your day. Please let me know in the comments below if there's any questions you have or any specific requests for future videos on other topics. Enjoy. All right, start lying on your back. Again, you don't need a yoga mat. You can just lie on the floor. If you are thinner, you might want a couple of blankets or towels to support you. I like no shoes during your practice. So please hug your knees to your chest and rock yourself side to side. With your knees hugged to your chest, rock yourself side to side, and you can go slow or fast. Just listen to what your body is asking you for. And then pause, find your center. Please lower your feet to the floor and stretch your legs long on your mat. Reach your arms overhead and reach long from fingertips to toes. Stretch. Press the back of your skull into the floor. Hips heavy, thighs heavy. One more breath. Reach from fingertips to toes. Good, and bend your knees and lower the soles of your feet flat on the floor. With your knees bent, bring one hand under your low back and one hand to your belly. As you pull your belly into your spine, press your low back into your bottom hand. So you're pushing your low back into the floor. Now do the opposite. Push your belly up into your top hand and you'll feel your back move away from your bottom hand. So this is some pelvic tilting, and you can feel how it determines how your back is shaped depending on how you tilt your pelvis. So push your belly up into your hand and lift your low back up off of your bottom hand. Now do the opposite. Push your low back into your bottom hand, navel to your spine. Now find a place right in the middle. So it's not low back too high. It's not low back smashed into the floor. Pause here. Press your hips into the floor, back of your pelvis into the floor. Connect to your breath. You might feel your belly rise and fall into your hands. Pull your right knee into your chest. I made a little list of things to do, and that's what I'm looking at. It's my little cheat sheet. Give yourself, with your right knee pulled into your chest and the sole of your left foot on the floor, circle out your right ankle a couple of times each direction. So you might hear all kinds of creaks and pops in your ankles. That's okay. You're just getting some warmth and mobility. Keep your right knee tucked into your chest and slowly extend your left leg along your rug or blanket or mat. Enjoy a couple of breaths and imagine a small elephant standing on your left thigh, pressing your left thigh down, your left heel down. Stretch your bottom leg long and the top of your head long away from your bottom foot. Lower your right foot to the floor. Bend your left leg, sole of left foot to the floor. Pull your left knee into your chest, around your left shin, interlace your fingers. Keep this. Take your knee towards your chest and circle out your left ankle a couple of times each direction. This is good enough. Stay here or slide your right leg straight out along the floor. Press your right heel down, your right thigh down. Pull your left outer hip away from your left shoulder, so you feel a lengthening through your left side. Press the back of your head into the floor, shoulders into the floor. One more breath. Bend your right knee, sole of right foot to the floor. Lower the sole of your left foot to the floor. Pause here and take your arms straight up to the ceiling. With your arms straight up to the ceiling, reach your fingertips up to the ceiling so that your shoulders lift up away from the floor. You might feel your upper back round a little bit. Now do the opposite. Pull your shoulders into their sockets so you feel the back of your shoulder press into the floor. Pause here and now lengthen from your hips to your armpits. It'll feel kind of like you're moving your shoulders up towards your ears a little bit. Keep that length. Pull your fingertips up towards the ceiling so your shoulders move away from the floor. Then do the opposite. Pull your shoulders into their sockets so the back of your shoulders press into the floor. Keep this. Slowly open your arms wide like an airplane. Keeping your shoulders heavy, head heavy. Lower your arms all the way down. And then again, reach them up. Reach fingers to the ceiling, shoulders away from the floor. Pull fingers into shoulders, shoulders into the floor. Keep shoulders pressing into the floor and open your arms wide like an airplane. Press shoulders into the floor, back of head into the floor, and then your hands into the floor. Take a deep breath here. From here, bend your elbows. As you bend your elbows, press your elbows into the floor, and here your palms might face each other. Turn your palms towards your thighs. Keeping your palms facing towards your thighs, press your back of your hand towards the floor. So now your upper arms are parallel to the short edge of your mat, and your forearms are parallel to the long edge of your mat. Press the back of your shoulder and back of your hand into the floor for 3, 2, 1. Now lift your hands up away from the floor back to the starting point and press elbows down, shoulders down. Press the backs of your hands into the floor. It won't be like this the whole time. It'll be a little bit more dynamic, don't worry. Lift your hands up away from the floor. Press shoulders down, elbows down, bring the backs of your hands to the floor, last one of these, and then slowly relax the efforting in your shoulders so that your arms can just remain in this cactus arm position without effort. It's a passive stretch. All right, holding here, shift your hips a little bit to the left. So I'm just going to pick them up a little and scooch them to the left. Scooch is a technical term. Let your knees fall to the right. With your knees falling to the right, you'll maybe feel a stretch in your left thigh if you're tight there. Lift your knees back to center. Pick up your hips, scooch them to the right, and then lower your knees to the left. What we're going to do in this little sequence is do a few things with repetition, and then we'll add on. So lift your knees back to center, pick up your hips, scooch them to the left, and then lower your knees to the right again. Your knees are somewhat staggered here, so they're not stacked on top of each other, they're staggered. So your legs are not touching each other necessarily. Hold here, or activate it a little bit more by pressing your left thigh towards the floor. You'll feel your left inner thigh turn on. Keep this and now push your inner left thigh back. Like you're sticking your butt back. Like you're getting that little lift in your low back we did earlier. Pull Pull your lower back, your tailbone in, and stretch your left knee to the front right corner of your mat. Take a breath here, twist your belly to the left, look to the left. Please bring your knees to center, shift your hips to the right and lower your knees to the left. The idea is you might not get all of the steps, especially if you're newer at this, but to catch the ones you can catch, do what you can, and then maybe watching it a second or third time, you'll be like, oh yeah, got it, and you'll be able to catch all the cues, or maybe I'll say them all right by that time. All right, press your inner right thigh down towards the floor to activate your inner right thigh. Then push your inner right thigh back towards the wall behind you, and you'll feel a little bit of a curve in your low back from that action, ideally. Push your inner right thigh towards the ceiling like you're broadening your pelvis. Stretch your right knee to the front left corner of your mat. If any of these elude you, it's okay. You'll start to catch it as we go. But even the shapes, without knowing all the precise details, can be very helpful and freeing, even if you don't get all of it, quote unquote, perfect and right. Bring your knees to center. Shift your hips a little to the left, lower your knees to the right. By this time, the position should be starting to feel more familiar. Holding here, option to cross your right leg on top of your left leg. So it's just ankle on top of knee. Pause, and if your knee hurts, please go back to the earlier stage where it doesn't hurt. Assuming it doesn't hurt, press your knee up into your right foot and your foot down into your left knee. Keeping this action, push your inner left thigh back towards the wall behind you, up towards the ceiling, and then take your tailbone, stretch down through your left knee, and pull your belly and low back up through the top of your head. Look to the left, enjoy your breath. Uncross your leg, bring your knees to center, shift your hips to the right. Lower your knees to the left. Cross left ankle on right thigh. Push right thigh and left foot into one another. Push your inner right thigh back to the wall behind you. Press your inner right thigh up towards the ceiling to create space in your hips. Pull your tailbone in, or like tone your pelvic floor. Stretch your right knee to the front left corner of your mat. Look to the right, even pull your belly a little to the right. Look to the ceiling, uncross your legs, bring your knees to the ceiling. Bring your hips to center. Pause here, feel your breath. Pull knees to chest, rock yourself side to side. Even just doing this can give your hips a little freedom and your low back a little freedom. And it just feels nice. All right, lower the soles of your feet to the floor. I call this like a cat and cow position. So if you were on all fours, hands and knees, we would be doing cat and cow position. But lying on your back, you do the same position and you just feel it differently. So tilt your pelvis so that your low back comes up away from the floor. So you'd be pressing your belly up towards the ceiling, your inner thighs down towards the floor, your low back in and up, so there's a little space for little critters to crawl underneath your back. Now do the opposite. Pull your navel to your spine, press your low back into the floor, and your pubic bone up towards the ceiling. Inhaling, tilt your pelvis so that your upper inner thighs move down towards the floor, your low back lifts up away from the floor, belly moves towards the ceiling. Good. Now settle with a neutral spine so you're not dramatic either position. Hold here. Behind your pull your right knee into your chest. Hold here. Now behind your right thigh, interlace your fingers. Push your right thigh into your hands, so much so that if you were to let go of your leg, it would go flying forward. That action, you're not pulling in, you're pushing away into your interlaced fingers. So I'm pushing so that my arms straighten, and this is aligning your low back and strengthening. I believe it's strengthening like your hamstring muscles and your quadratus lumborum at your back, but don't quote me on that. I should know this. But it's very helpful for your low back, regardless of what muscles it's actually doing, what muscles it's actually strengthening, I mean. I just know it frees your back. Lower the sole of your right foot to the floor. Adding on, bend your left knee behind your left thigh, interlace your fingers. Push your left thigh into your interlaced fingers, so much so that your arms straighten. It creates this little tug of war situation, so your arms are working, your shoulders are working, but it's not too much. Keep your head heavy, shoulders heavy. Lower the sole of your left foot to the floor. First side again, behind your right thigh, interlace your fingers. Push your thigh into your hands. Hold here, stay here, or slide your left leg straight out along your mat. Pressing your left thigh down, your left heel down, pull your right outer hip away from your right shoulder. Breathe. Lower the sole of your right foot to the floor. Bend your left leg. Behind your left thigh, interlace your fingers. Push your left thigh into your hands. Keep this, stay here, or slide your right leg straight out along your mat. Press right heel down, right thigh down, and encourage your left outer hip to pull away from your left shoulder. Bend lower your sole of your left foot to the floor. Take the sole of your right foot to the floor. Great. Next one, we're gonna go right ankle on left thigh. Holding here, pull your right hip away from your right shoulder. You'll feel a subtle stretching here. So what I want you to do is try to get, pull that back a little bit and just try to get the tilting in your pelvis. So you pull your inner thighs down and your low back up away from the floor as like a stage one. Keep this. Now pull your right hip away from your right shoulder. The consequence might be that your right knee moves away from your right shoulder, but I want you to focus on your right hip moving away from your shoulder. Your knee's connected, so it will follow. Please lower the sole of your right foot back to the floor. Cross left ankle on right thigh. Pause here, spread your toes. It seems inconsequential, but it really helps. Press your left pinky toe away from your face. Push your left big toe mound to the wall at your right. Holding here, create that little tilt in your pelvis to get your low back to lift up away from the floor. Let your femur sink into the socket. Stay. Now pull your left hip away from your left shoulder. All of these are little baby steps, and you go one step at a time and see what's helpful and see what's not. Listen to your body. I'm giving instructions that work okay for my body and instructions that I've heard before. So if something doesn't work for you, you can always put it in the comments or ask me to clarify. Let me know. Place the sole of your left foot to the floor. Take your right ankle on your left thigh. Stay like we've done before, or pull your legs into your chest. Around your left thigh, interlace your fingers. So you can go around your left thigh or around your left shin, but the shin is much more intense, especially if you have knee stuff. So thigh is fine, shin is fine. Press your left pinky toe away from your face. Push your right big toe mound to the left. Pull your inner right thigh away from your belly. Widen it to the right. That'll keep you busy. Or refine by pulling your belly into your spine, your right hip away from your right shoulder, and maybe you pull your legs a little closer. Breathe deeply. Hold here, press head into the floor, shoulders into the floor. See if you can get your hips to pull away from your shoulders. Yoga is always asking us to do like seemingly impossible actions, seemingly opposed actions at the same time. All right, lower your left foot to the floor. Take your right foot down. Second side, cross your left ankle on your right thigh. Hold, stay, or pull legs to chest. Around your right thigh, interlace your fingers. Breathe. Press left pinky toe away from your face. Left big toe mound to the right. Lift your navel in towards your spine and pull your left hip away from your left shoulder. Take your legs deeper into your chest. Always stop at the point where there is no pain. Discomfort is different than pain. Practice breathing into discomfort, whether it's in your physical body or just in your mind. Practice being with what's happening without wishing it was something different. Lower the sole of your right foot to the floor. Lower the sole of your left foot to the floor. Stretch your legs long on your yoga mat. Stretch your arms overhead. Reach long from fingertips to toes. Stretch. Bend your right knee into your chest. Around your right shin, interlace your fingers. Open your left arm to the left. Holding onto your right shin, open your right leg to the right. Pull your belly to the left as you look to the left, but keep opening your right leg to the right. Here is where it would be nice to grab a strap. I forgot mine right over there. But if you have a strap in your hand, you hook it around your foot and you can push your leg to the right into your strap. Or if you're flexible, you can hold your foot. Pull your belly to the left as you push your foot to the right. Again, you can do all of this with a bent leg, especially if you don't have a strap. Look to the ceiling. Bring your leg to the ceiling and lower your right foot to the floor. Pull your left knee to your chest. Grab onto your shin. Open your right arm to the right. Open your left knee to the left. Pull your belly to the right. Look to the right. Get heavy in your right thigh. Stretch your right leg long. Use your breath to focus you in the moment. It's so easy to start to drift off, to get bored, to think about other things, especially because we're just laying on the floor. Use your breath to stay present. You're here to help your back. You're here to free yourself from pain. Option to stretch your legs straighter if you want to push your foot into your strap or into your fingers if you've got the flexibility for it. Twist your belly to the right, one more breath. Look to the ceiling. Bring your leg to center and lower your left foot to the floor. Bend your knees, take the soles of your feet to the floor. With the soles of your feet to the floor, take your hands to the ceiling so your elbows are bent next to your ribs. Press the back of your head into the floor, Back of your shoulders into the floor, elbows into the floor. Pushing your elbows down, lift your chest towards the ceiling without lifting your shoulders or the back of your head. Hold here, stay here. Now lift your hips. Here you might feel your hamstrings and your glute muscles turn on. Pause here and squeeze your inner thighs towards each other because they tend to turn out. Please keep your knees pulling towards each other. Press feet into the floor, elbows into the floor, shoulders into the floor, head into the floor. Slowly lower your hips. Stretch out your legs. Take a breath. Bend your knees. Take the soles of your feet to the floor. Bend your elbows. Press elbows, shoulders, head into the floor. Lift your hips. Squeeze knees towards each other to turn on your inner thighs. Stay here or press your palms into the floor. If you have a yoga mat, you can grab onto the edges of your yoga mat. Otherwise, you can press your fists down into the floor or your palms into the floor. Isometrically pull your hands away from each other. Pull your shoulder blades towards each other. Lift your chest. If you've got the yoga mat, grip your yoga mat and pull your hands away from each other. Slowly lower your hips. Stretch your legs out straight. Feel your breath. Feel your heartbeat. We have one more. Bend your knees. Take the soles of your feet to the floor. Press your feet down. Lift your hips. Pull your shoulders up towards your ears and in towards your spine. Up towards your ears, in towards your spine. Keep that and you'll feel more lift in your chest. Keep this, elbows bent or palms flat, or grip your yoga mat, or interlace your fingers behind you. That's a big leap for some of you. Pull your shoulders up and underneath you. Press the back of your head down. Your shoulders down. Hands down. Lift your chest towards your chin. Use your strong glute muscles. Lift your hips up. Please stay aware of your knees rather than allowing them to drift wide. Please pull knees towards each other and point your toes straight ahead. One more breath. Unclasp your hands. Lower your feet to the floor. Take your legs straight, arms out. Rest for a moment. It's not Shavasana yet. All right. Pull knees to chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. Rock yourself gently side to side. If that bothers you, you don't have to rock, especially if you have bonier hips or a bonier back. The rocking won't feel comfortable. It'll feel painful. Find your center. This is called happy baby. So in an ideal world, you'd be able to reach your feet. Some of us have shorter limbs, thicker limbs, all kinds of things going on. So you do your best. So you might have knees bent, shins more vertical, and you're grabbing onto your ankles. As you hold onto your ankles, pull your knees towards the floor. If you can reach the outer edges of your feet, grab the outer edges of your feet with your feet flexed. Extend your big toe edges towards the ceiling and pull your knees outside your ribs towards the floor. Lengthen from hips to armpits. Press back of head into the floor. This is called a happy baby. Feel free to rock a little bit. Encourage a little bit more action in your thighs now. Squeeze your legs towards your ribs. Push your inner thighs up towards the ceiling and wide apart. So these actions can be really confusing at first, and they're really subtle. So try to get your pelvis to tilt a little bit in this position. Inner thighs up towards the ceiling and that will press the back of your hips more into the floor. Widen your inner thighs apart. It might not feel like a whole lot's happening at first, but it can really help your low back expand. And pull your pelvic floor in and lengthen to the top of your head. Stay here, or you can play with bending one knee a little bit more. So I'm bending my right leg and pushing my left foot into my left hand and straightening my left leg a little bit. It might not straighten for you, but you can work towards it. Bending your left knee, pull your left heel closer to your left hip and push your right leg straighter. As you push your right leg straighter, flex your right foot. So it's like in between a point and a flex. Bend your right leg, right heel towards right sitting bone. We're gonna go one more time each side. Push your left leg straighter. Extend to the big toe edge of your foot. Spread your left pinky toe to the left. Slowly bend your left leg, heel towards sitting bone. Push your right leg straighter. Spread your toes. Extend to the big toe edge of your foot. Tighten around your right knee. Bend your right knee. Lower the soles of both feet to the floor. Take your feet a little wider than your hips and bring your inner knees together. Please take one hand on your heart, one hand on your lower belly. Close your eyes and turn your attention inward. Offer yourself love. Offer yourself peace. Offer your beautiful body gratitude for all that's done for you over all these years. For the kids you raised, for the people you've helped, for all the work you've done. Offer yourself gratitude. Offer yourself compassion. Offer yourself peace. Offer yourself love. Hold this position as long as you'd like, and as you feel ready, if you feel ready, you can stretch your legs long on your mat or long on the floor. Turn your palms open, slightly away from your hips. Give yourself a couple of minutes to simply rest here without any movement. Practice surrendering yourself, relaxing every muscle while you stay awake and aware with these beautiful offerings of love and peace, gratitude, compassion. And let these be your focal points rather than any swirling thought that could tempt your attention away from being here and present in the moment. Couple more slow breaths. Slowly start to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Stretch your arms and legs as you wish. Gently bend a knee or both and roll to one side. Rest your head in your upper arm and take a moment to just pause and feel. Use your arms, press yourself back to seated. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you feel ease in your back and freedom in your hips and spine. I hope that you feel bright in your heart
And I hope that you feel a sense of connection to something more than just yourself. Thanks so much for joining me. The goodness in me honors the goodness in you. Namaste.